When you manually place a wall sweep on a wall, sometimes that wall sweep will get embedded into the wall, which isn't necessarily where you want that wall sweep to be actually located at in relationship to the wall. More than likely, you want the wall sweep to either be on the surface of the wall or out toward the outer edge of the wall, not sort of in the middle of the wall itself. Also, sometimes you'll have two different wall sweeps. They'll come together at a corner and not quite clean up just correctly. And what I'd like to do is go through the process of how to clean up both of those conditions. Here on the view cube over on the right-hand side of my screen, I'm going to click on the arrow, which will bring us around to the front elevation, and then spin the wheel of the mouse. What we're looking at here is a wall and another wall coming together at a 90-degree angle. Now, let's manually add two wall sweeps that aren't exactly parallel with one another. Come up here to the Architecture tab, select on Wall, then click on Wall Sweep. Scroll down, then somewhere in this area, click to place your first sweep. Hit the Escape key to get out of the command. Do the same thing. Go to Wall, Wall Sweep. Now, this is important. Don't have them automatically line up with one another, because they will clean up with one another if they automatically are lining up with one another on placement. Just place one right about here. Get out of the command. And now I'd like to take a look at this a little bit closer and at a little bit different angle. To accomplish that, I'll hold down the Shift key on the keyboard, as well as the wheel of my mouse, and then gently move the mouse. Once we're at an angle, spin the wheel of the mouse to zoom in and take a look at the two boards. Let's first get these boards away from the center of the walls. To accomplish that task, click on either one of the wall sweeps, and then for the offset from wall, let's adjust its offset to be 3/4 of an inch. Then click on Apply. Notice how it's now been pulled away from the wall? Do the same thing with your other sweep. Now that they've both been pulled away, let's line both of them up. Click on one of them, click on the little blue dot, and you'll see that if you click on the little blue dot, you can either pull this board out or pull it back. Instead of just pulling it forward or pulling it back, what I'd really like to do is select on the board and then just manually pull it down until it looks like they're just about lined up with one another. Then let go. Now we can see that both of these boards are right there. Now one option is what I just showed you. Click on that dot and then just pull it out until you get to the end of the other board until they're lined up with one another. Another option is to pull this board back and then select on Modify Returns. You'll see a blue face on the end of that board. Well, what we can tell Revit to do is to take that end of the board and then rotate it around so that it's not just facing this direction, but it spins itself around and is facing the other board. So that would be modifying the return, and then we can type in whatever angle that it is that we need in order for it to meet the other board. In this case, the two walls that they're attached to are at a 90-degree angle from one another, so a 90-degree angle is correct. But if they'd been at 45s, you would type in a 45-degree angle. Next, click where it has this blue surface. You may need to do it toward the edge of that surface, but click right around the edge of that blue surface. One of the things that it's now done is that it's now come around, and now it's going around the corner. If we hit escape a couple times on the keyboard and then click, we'll notice that there's a blue dot right here at the end. Well, that blue dot before was pulling out in this direction, right? But now, if we try to pull in the blue dot, you'll notice that it goes around the edge. Now, unfortunately, though, because it's going around the edge, it means that we can no longer just click and just pull it over in this direction. We would need to make other adjustments in order to be able to accomplish that. So now, though, we have two blue dots, one which indicates the end of the wall, or where it's connecting at the end of the wall, and the other which is the overall length of the board. We can now click this blue dot, pull it out to here, in order to get these boards to both come out and sort of meet up at the same spot. To get them accurate, we really need to go into a plan view and then pull them until it's at the exact right length away from the wall so that they both line up with one another. Once this has occurred, you can then select on one of the boards, and then maybe it's just good the way that it is, but I like to clean these things up by coming up here to join, selecting on one, selecting on the other, and then start to clean up that extra material out between the two boards. Now, the reason why you're still seeing some lines here is because there is still a slight difference in the height in between each of these. But if we would go into elevation views, we could then use the move command and then move them so that they're aligned with one another. And that's the same thing inside of the plan view as well. We could go into a plan view and then make sure that each of these boards were aligned with one another inside of a plan view. But if we zoom out, we can now see that now these two boards are coming together and it's now wrapping around the corner so that it looks right inside of an elevation view.